Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, and I am so happy, really honestly, that all of you are here, my friends, and I love all of you. That's the truth here. So, this is my post market wrap up on this Monday, June 12th, 2023. I got like 2 pages of stuff I want to cover with you here. Let's just start off with the market so I can get my head on straight. So, a nice little rally here on Wall Street. Suppressed rates are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Um, the Federal Reserve buying all the debt, keeping rates suppressed, opens up a doorway for cash to make its way into the stock market, and it's getting really. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, we also have the Joe Biden reelection campaign in full swing. You know how this works. Don't take my word for this. Look back at presidential cycles throughout history. Okay, thank you, Mitch, and how the market performs, the stock market. The economy could literally be shut off or shut down, but the stock market will keep going higher. Again, this fosters the illusion of prosperity. Okay, people believe, wrongly so, because there's no connection between the stock market and the economy, that if the stock market is high, well, the economy is booming, the economy is doing well. And that's exactly the tale that is going to be sold to everyone by the thing currently sitting behind the Resolute desk. Seriously, just be prepared for that. He's going to tout how we have a strong jobs market. But what did we just find out today? What did we just find out today with regard to the supposed jobs that we're adding? These are low or no skill jobs. Oh, fantastic. I'm sure these pay great. Oh, people are going to be able to just go out and buy a new Mercedes, a BMW, or whatever they want, maybe even a freaking Ferrari. How about no? Um, Look, the economy, it's dead and buried. It's dead and buried. You all know that. The bad economic news doesn't seem to matter anymore. Why? Because what do we got? Look, this week, come Wednesday, we're going to hear from the Fed. And the Fed, the Fed's going to pause. The Fed is going to pause. And the market is pricing that in. You're seeing, again, the market go higher on the back of it. Because look, there's never been ever, not even for a freaking nanosecond, has the Fed been raising rates to control inflation. They don't care. The Fed's main job is to continue to inflate along with every other freak show of a central bank. You all know that. It's only been the Fed's raising rates to cut off credit to small businesses. They're wiping out an entire class of people. You've known this for a decade, but it's in your face. But the mainstream propaganda keeps trying to sell you the lie that central banks are out here and they're raising rates because they really want to fight inflation. No, nothing could possibly be further from the truth here. People, is out of control. MMRI to 420. If the MMRI hits 420, I mean, in short order, you can only imagine what that means. But let's talk about that. The MMRI did come up a little bit today. We're just like 10 points away from our first line of the sand, 250. I'm not sure actually where the MMRI. Last time I looked at it was about 240. Maybe someone here wants to give me an update on the MMRI, Mannarino Market Risk Indicator. Link in the description of this video. They seem very determined here. The powers that be, the central banks, preventing the 10-year yield from getting out of control here, a massive sell-off in the debt market, which would obviously drive the MMRI much higher. They're in here, and they're doing a lot to try to keep this situation propped up. It's insane. There's no such thing as market cycles anymore. It's just, it goes straight up. There's no such thing as a pullback, a correction. When everything is pointing that one thing should happen, it just doesn't anymore. And that's easy money. That's suppressed rates. That's central banks running it's 240.2. Thank you, Moonraker. Thank you, Magic Meek. I appreciate that. So we're like 9.8 points away from 250 with regard to the MMRI. and we'll see where that goes. It's very, very interesting. But we spoke about this, if you recall, weeks ago. We said if they were going to manage to keep the yield curve under control, if they would have to get in here and buy. Okay, the central banks had to, the Federal Reserve in this case, had to buy more. Otherwise, this whole thing was just going to blow up. I mean, we are on a knife's edge. If it were not for, you know this already, the Fed getting in here, keeping rates suppressed, buying it all, would anything be where it is right now? No. This is just a freak show on an unprecedented scale. Nick the Pig. I don't know. Nick the Pig was here, but he kind of disappeared. Cobra Joe. Anyway, so there's a couple things going on here that we need to talk about. But let me just finish my thoughts with this market. So rally today on the back of suppressed rates. It just seems unfreaking stoppable here. Crude oil really took it on the chin today. It's not going to last. Every time we drop to around here, we get some kind of miraculous turnaround in crude oil. Why is crude falling? Because people realize that the economy is turning into more of a crap show. I can't say SHIT anymore. It's amazing, isn't it? It is. It's out of control. The economy is free falling around the world here. Now, here's something interesting that you need to pay attention to. There is more and more nations circumventing the petrodollar. They're using China as a conduit. You know what? Hold that thought. I want to talk more about that in a moment. But looking over at the market again, gold and silver under pressure, crypto's under pressure, crude, as I just said here. I already discussed what's happening with the 10-year yield. Dollar strength, relative strength was slightly higher today. Nothing to shake a stick at here. But again, with regard to the whole petrodollar here, if in fact we start to see more of what we're seeing now, we are going to see war break out all around the world. There's just no doubt about it. What are nations doing right now? Thank you, Mitch, again. They're arming themselves to the teeth. Do you think they're doing this just for fun and games? No, they're preparing for more war. Now, if the petrodollar will really threaten, then that threat is growing here. There's just no doubt at all in my mind, and I'm sure yours as well, that we're going to see not just regional wars, but this is going to spread everywhere. There's no doubt about it. The enforcement arm of the Federal Reserve is the U.S. military. If you don't know that, well, maybe you should do a little research about this. And believe me, they will point that weapon, the U.S. military as a whole, including its nuclear arsenal, at anyone that tries to get in the way of the U.S. dollar losing its reserve status or petrodollar status here. And it's interesting how it's playing out. What nations are doing here, instead of buying crude oil in their own currency, they're buying this in Chinese currency. So it's it really is a threat to the petrodollar. I don't see it going away anytime soon, but if this does get worse, there's just no doubt in my mind, you're going to see things you're not going to believe, more so than 8-foot aliens. I'm dead serious. Anyway, so let's keep our eyes on that. All right. China seems to be the cog here that is, in a way, laundering money for nations to circumvent the dollar in purchases of oil from Russia, especially. So this is kind of touchy. It really, really is. Now, with that said, again, you and I, and this is the truth before anybody else, many months ago, 10 months ago now, we started to talk about right here on this blog how the banks were in trouble. No deposits, no loans, no deals. The issue with the regional banks obviously played out pretty much, I guess, as we would have expected it to. And it's not over yet, not even by a long shot. You got the larger institutions buying, as you and I knew was going to happen, absorbing assets from the smaller institutions here for pennies on the dollar. But what's not getting as much attention as it should, and we covered it here, right here, like maybe 2 weeks ago, we started talking about it. The major banks, the big banks, the JP Morgans just paid a fine for, well, I think you know what I'm all talking about here. I better keep my mouth shut before I end up perished, if you get my drift on this. You got to be a little fearful. Understand, the powers that be, the major banks, the Federal Reserve. Don't think I don't get a little nervous a little bit here. Of course I do. And we all should, honestly, because this is not what we think it is. Nothing is what it seems to be. Anyway, with that, I think you get my drift. So the major institutions here, they also are suffering the same issues with no deposits, no loans, and no deals. With regard to people continue to withdraw their cash from these institutions. I don't know what people are doing with it. I'll be honest with you. But the average guy and the average girl who had cash in these institutions, they're pulling it. Maybe they're stuffing it under their mattresses like our grandparents used to do back in the day, hiding it in their yard, burying it or whatever. This is a major problem for the banks, okay, period. I mean, I was just writing down a few things. And then, again, no loans. You've got mortgage demand, which is virtually non-existent anymore. Deals, what about these the deals that these banks were making with regard to commercial real estate? Do you realize what's sitting on these big banks' books? Not only do we have I'm reading some of these. It's funny. Starvation is bullish. You know what? Starvation might actually prove to be bullish. How's that? Because nothing seems to get in the way of this market. It's completely out of control. I will address these questions, and please wait till I finish, and then we'll go over these things here in just a little bit. So again, mortgage demand is just non-existent anymore. That's obviously going to hurt the major institutions here. Commercial real estate, toxic assets. These banks are loaded with it. Loaded with it. And you know who's going to bail that out? Well, you are. Of course, you know that these institutions are not going to be made to suffer. You're going to be made to suffer here. And again, going back to the other, I think, super elephant in the room is derivative exposure. Just think about this. Think about this, and you know already what I'm going to tell you probably. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Citigroup, just these three institutions won over $150 trillion worth of derivative exposure. Look this up for yourself if you don't believe me. This is out of control. So we got major banks with, again, derivative exposure. I was writing this down earlier. Commercial real estate exposure to the highest order. You can only imagine what this means. You got account closures. Again, people pulling their cash out of these institutions. Where they're putting it, I don't know. Maybe some of you can tell me that. Vast. It's something else I forgot to talk about here. So what has been going on, obviously, is the Federal Reserve limiting the availability of credit to small businesses. They want to wipe them out, but that is a double-edged sword. So these institutions here are suffering vast reductions with regard to small business loans, just as you and I said would happen. I mean, it's an incredible thing here. And then, of course, mortgage demand is just done. And of course, these institutions, they are in one way kind of capitalizing on a situation, and that is, again, acquiring assets from the smaller banks for pennies on the dollar, keeping the system afloat. That's really the truth here. On the economic front here, the U.S. budget deficit breaks over $1 trillion in May. What have you and I been speaking about since time immemorial? Debts and deficits going to balloon and balloon and balloon until it just, this whole thing just implodes. Lord Humongous, dude, where you been, bro? I missed you. Unbelievable. People, seriously, if you like this video, those thumbs up are so appreciated. Thank you, Lava Girl, Magic Mika, all my friends are here, Perry, Systems, Realty Team. You're all so awesome here. Anyway, so that's really the story here. Now I want to hear from you again, and we're going to go over the questions in just a second here. What do you think about? And this is a fact. Look it up for yourself if you don't believe Greg Mannarino. What's going on here is more nations are kind of saying, okay, China, we're going to buy crude oil in your currency here from Russia or wherever you want to circumvent the dollar. How many of you believe that this is going to lead to war? Because I do. I believe that with every fiber of my being. Look, it's no secret here. China and Russia have been aligning them with themselves for quite a long time. And the United States is a paper tiger. I hate to say that, but it's really the truth. And well, anyway, that's a whole other ball game. Maybe we'll talk later on about that. All right. So now, before this gets too freaking long here, let's talk about what you guys. Yes, exactly. Kiwin, dude. I love that proof you sent me. You're awesome. War is big business. As a matter of fact, you will know this if you follow this blog. No other endeavor on this planet generates more cash for the military industrial complex, the corporations, than war, the propagation of war. So this is why the United States has been in perpetual war since forever, and why more war is coming. It's really the truth here, people. I think we're pretty much on the same page with that. Look, it goes back to everything else, how you and I, we have no voice. You and I, we have no representation. We have nothing anymore. This is not the United States of America. It's become a corporate agenda. The United States of corporate America. Why do you think? What's the real reason why the Fed is raising rates? To kill small businesses, to cut off the availability of credit. So the larger institutions don't have any competition. War is a racket. Absolutely. Come on. We all know this. Anyway, people, it's so crazy, man. It's so crazy. No one, exactly. Peace sells, but no one's buying. People can sit here and pray for peace and everything else. The world, unfortunately, has become a violent place, and without violence, those that look, it's not going to work. We need a revolution. I'm telling you, and I don't mean a peaceful one either. Unfortunately, we're getting destroyed. We are getting crushed. Bank consolidation, absolutely. That's been going on for quite a while and now we're seeing what's going on with the regional institutions. It's going to play out. The big institutions as well. They're going to consolidate as well. The power must be consolidated more so in the larger institutions. Again, people, what's going on? They're dismantling the current system piece by piece. You know that. They're doing this for the rollout of the digital system. That is coming, and there ain't no way to sidestep it. There's no way to do it. So thanks again, Mitch. But that's where we are. That's where we're at with this whole thing. This thing, I'm just going to go over this real quick. This thing with the UFO disclosure. Look, I happen to personally believe that there is extraterrestrial life. I really do. And how can I say that? I've seen things that I think are very difficult to explain. Anyway, but again, going back, some people were angry at me because I said the next crisis. If you watch the video that I did this morning, I said the next crisis was going to be one of food. They're going to starve us, resources, scarcity of food insecurity. They've been throwing this out. And people were angry at me because I said that would be the next crisis. I don't know why. But that's how people are. People get angry, and I know you weren't angry. I know you were. Some people were. They're like, "Oh no, it's going to be aliens." Look, you're entitled to your own opinion. Maybe it is going to be aliens. Aliens are going to starve us for food. What do I know? I'm just telling you what I think about when I'm looking at current trends. I say, okay, what is the media trying to push on us? They always tell you, if you pay attention to the little subtle signals that are sent out via the propaganda ministry, they tell you what they're going to do. Before they do it, they tell you, just like right now, they're telling us now food insecurity. We've seen food inflation rise out of control, scarcity. They're setting the groundwork for, I believe, what is coming, period. Anyway, look, eat bugs. Exactly. They want us to eat bugs and be happy. They want us to eat bugs and be freaking happy about it. No, I'm not happy about it at all. I don't want to eat any bugs. I don't like. I know in some places of the world they eat bugs, and maybe some people eat bugs and they happen to like it. But definitely not something I'm looking forward to having to do. Carlos, thank you. I really appreciate this. Fiber. Yeah, you people are great. Honestly, worms. Don't even say worms. Of all things, you're going to mention worms? Oh, no. Coco's getting walked. The earth is flat. Congratulations. All right, people, look, this video is getting awfully long. We got almost coming up on 20 minutes here. I love all of you too. Magic Mika, thank you. Geo Rider. I don't know, man. This whole thing is just getting so out of control. And the disconnect between, again, the suppressed rates are just created the craziest thing. Thank you. Systems Realty team, I appreciate that very much. I really do. All right, people, that's going to be it for today. We covered a lot, and I do want to hear from you with regard to the petrodollar threat, with regard to the major banks. Listen, they're not immune to this. You've known this since day one. We're all on the same page, but not just the derivative exposure here. You got, I think, the biggest immediate threat to the big banks is their exposure to commercial real estate. I would have to say that's pretty bad. And the account, you don't discount the fact that people are pulling their cash out of these institutions. We haven't seen anything like this in over 40 years. People are pulling their cash. That's going to hurt the banks too. I tell you, maybe that's part of the revolution. Pull your freaking cash out of these institutions. I've been telling you that for I don't know how many freaking years. 10. Pull your cash out. Get your cash out of these institutions. It's crazy. Mortgage demand. I mean, come on. It's crazy, people. They got this whole thing set up, honestly. All right. Love you a lot from the heart. People, I know we can do better than this. You're trying to tell me we can only get 616 thumbs up here. We got over 1,200 people. That's crazy. 1 and 2. Come on, let's do something about that. All right. No, derivatives is a big problem too. Like, it's humongous, but I don't think it's as clear and as present. Let's just say the derivative exposure of these institutions is beyond belief. It's beyond, I think, anyone's wildest imaginations here. I did a whole video about this. I posted a whole paper with breaking down the bank's exposure in my newsletter. I post all kinds of things in my newsletter for all of you. Every week I write a paper. I post all kinds of things. So please subscribe to my newsletter. And I want to apologize again. I am fighting off the trolls like you can't believe. The newsletter is free. I want to try to keep it that way. But the trolls are coming in here and they're causing disharmony, and they're really they're causing people to unsubscribe from the newsletter, which is unfortunate. I may be forced to set up a paywall, like something tiny, but enough to keep the trolls away. I hate having to do that. I wanted so much for all this stuff to be available to anybody that wants to participate in a positive way. But you get these people, and then they're the first ones to complain. Oh, he's charging $3 or whatever it might be. I mean, come on, people. You can't make this stuff up. It's impossible to do. Yes. Silver, Lord Humongous, dude, I love you, bro. I really do. Silver is the bank killer, in my view. I love how he put that. Listen to Lord Humongous. Don't listen to Greg Mannarino. I'm telling you, in my heart of hearts and everything I think about and study, silver is the place to be. All right. I have a lot of things that I like, and I own a lot of assets. That's the truth. But silver is my favorite. I still believe with all I got, it's the most undivided asset in the planet. Let them play their games. We're going to play our games as well. Okay. We're going to bet against the debt, become our own central bank. What's going on? Global debt continues to balloon. Debts and deficits balloon. What do you want to do? You want to be on the opposite side of that here. I love gold. Don't get me wrong. I love platinum and palladium too. I think they're all fantastic. But silver, just looking at the Dow gold ratio, gold silver ratio, that's all. Do a little homework here and you will see. I think you'll agree with me. Silver. Forget, maybe that's what people are doing. They're pulling their cash out of the banks. They're buying silver with it. I mean, could you imagine if we really had like some kind of a silver revolution? You want to kill the banks? Pull your cash out and buy silver. Obviously, you need some cash to transact with. Aliens hate silver? You know, I can't recall my last conversation I had with an alien because I haven't had one yet. But I don't know if aliens hate silver. I'd be willing to bet that they actually like it. But what do I know here? Silver bullets kill vampires. I'm not sure about that either, honestly. That's it, people. That's it. Aliens, they abduct Coco. I hope not. I hope not. The little guy. He's amazing. All right. No pause. 25%. 25 basis point raise. We'll see, won't we? Okay. One of us is going to be right. I say no. You say yes. Let's see, people. All right. Look, I really got to end this video because I am going to get complaints. You know I'm going to get complaints. People complain all the time. I'm not experimenting on Coco. What did I be experimenting? I just kissed a little guy and I love him to death. You know that. All right. Enough. I love all of you people. Thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up. Hit just about 800. That's fantastic. You guys are great. I'll see you all in the morning. Ponder the things we've spoken about. Please comment. Comment about the things that we've covered here. And Alan, I'm not even gonna Alan Greenspan. I'm not even going to talk about that because that ain't no way happening, bro. But I'll see all of you in the morning. All right. Take it easy.